So, today we're going to dive into two topics that, let's be honest, probably keep a lot of parents and educators up at night: the incredible stress that modern teenagers are under, and the tricky, constantly changing world of online safety. Let's get right into it. Yeah, it's a question I think we all ask ourselves, right? Because beyond the normal challenges of growing up, today's teens are dealing with a whole different level of complexity. And a lot of the pressures they're facing, well, they can be pretty much invisible to us. All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to break it all down. First, we'll dig into the real causes of all this stress. Then, we'll learn how to spot the warning signs. And finally, we'll talk about real, practical solutions for both managing that stress and staying safe online. Okay, so first things first, let's really get a handle on where all this pressure is actually coming from. It's not just one thing, It's a mix of factors that are pretty unique to this generation. A massive one, and this probably isn't a surprise, is academic pressure. The push to get the best grades, to get into the right college. It can come from parents, teachers, even from themselves. And that weight can be absolutely immense. And then you've got the whole social scene. Think about it, the constant pressure to fit in, to navigate friendships, and to deal with things like bullying. It creates this huge emotional strain that is just so tough to handle day in and day out. And if that wasn't enough, they're also staring down the barrel of the future. All that anxiety about what college to go to, what career to choose, what their life is going to look like, these aren't some far-off worries for them. They feel incredibly real and incredibly urgent. And then, of course, the elephant in the room: technology and social media. I mean, they're always on. They're connected 24/7, constantly seeing the highlight reels of everyone else's lives and comparing themselves. This just adds a whole new layer of pressure that previous generations never even had to think about. Okay, so we know what's causing the stress, but how do you actually know when a teen is struggling? Being able to spot the signs early, before things get overwhelming, is absolutely the most important first step to helping them out. And this is so important to get. Stress isn't just feeling stressed. It shows up in all these different ways. You might see it in their emotions. Maybe they're more irritable or anxious, or it could be physical stuff, like more headaches or stomach aches. You could also see it in their behavior, like pulling away from friends or their grades suddenly dropping, or even cognitively, where they just can't seem to focus. All of these things can be clues, and they're all connected. All right, we've talked about the causes, we've looked at the signs. Now, let's get to the good stuff. What can we actually do about it? This is all about giving you and your teen the tools to build resilience. Look, it all starts with one thing: communication. I know, it sounds almost too simple, right? But seriously, creating a space where a teenager feels safe enough to just talk about what's on their mind without worrying about being judged or getting a lecture, that is the most powerful tool you have, period. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It's not just about hearing their words. It's about actually listening to understand where they're coming from. When a teen feels like they're really, truly being heard, they're so much more likely to open up and actually let you help. So once you've got that communication line open, there are these four other huge pillars of support we can build. First, a healthy lifestyle. Good sleep, decent food, getting some exercise. It's the foundation for mental health. Second, time management. Helping them figure out how to juggle everything can turn what feels like a giant, overwhelming mountain into something they can actually climb. Third, mindfulness. Simple things like breathing exercises can be a total game changer in a stressful moment. And last, please remember that reaching out for professional support from a counselor or a therapist, that's a sign of incredible strength. Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about that other massive challenge we mentioned at the start: navigating the digital world. And these two things, stress and online life, are deeply, deeply connected. The best way to approach online safety is with a balanced, two-pronged attack. So here's the thing: you can't just rely on one or the other. It's got to be a combination of technical tools and parental guidance. The tech tools are like guardrails. They help create a safer space to explore. But it's the conversations, the education, the guidance. That's what builds their digital smarts for the long run. One without the other just doesn't work. All right, let's talk about the tech side first. You've actually got a whole toolbox here. There's parental control software, sure, but don't forget about all the built-in settings on their phones and video game consoles. Just activating Safe Search on Google and using the content filters your internet provider gives you can be a great first line of defense. But like we said, tech is just one piece of the puzzle. The real game changer is the guidance. This means talking openly about online dangers, setting clear, consistent rules about screen time, and, this is the big one, making sure they know without a doubt that they can come to you if they see anything that makes them feel weird or uncomfortable and they won't get in trouble. And you see how this all connects? It brings us right back to where we started. It doesn't matter if we're talking about school stress or online safety, it all comes back to this. The best, most powerful filter you can ever have isn't a piece of software, it's a strong, trusting relationship. So I just want to leave you with this final thought. In a world that is constantly screaming for more screen time, more posts, more likes, maybe our biggest challenge and our most important job is to teach our kids how to find safety and value in real, true human connection. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.